Ken Sharrar and I have known each other for years. We worked together several years ago, and he was also one of my superstars because he implemented everything I told him. He did everything, and he was getting married at the time. So Ken, please turn on your camera and your sound and let's meet you.
Hi, Chala.
Hi, nice to see you again.
You too.
How are things in California?
Things in California are sunny. Weather's been good. I am not, a lot of people think California now, they think a couple things. One is fires. But thankfully, San Diego, where we are, San Diego County has not had those flare-ups this year. We've had them before, but
Yeah.
no, things are good.
I'm glad. I'm so happy to have you here. Now, tell everyone how you decided to hire me. Like, what business problem were you trying to solve?
I was trying to coach everybody was a prospect. I knew what I wanted to coach them on, but my funnel was too big.
Right.
Just trying to get too many people here, and you showed me how to do that.
Got it.
Through the market research project we did, and we met, as you remember, on a very, very snowy patch in Salt Lake City.
Oh yeah, I can never forget that. Like, and they said, "Oh, it's the first, snow of the season." I'm like, "Great."
Right. Yeah, it really was.
Great.
We probably had some dustings, but at any rate, we were at a coach's. Let's see, it was a really cool coaches roundtable. So
Executive roundtable, yeah.
11, 12 of us that were fledgling coaches, starting businesses. Some of us maybe had it going for a little while. Mine was about 2 years old, and I had some success, but not what I knew I was capable of. I just didn't know how.
Well, tell me about like the people that you went through. Like, you were not cheap. You hired your brains out around to get help for this, right?
Oh, well, yeah. If you go back to 2011, my first investment was for leadership training. I needed a foundation, and I'd always loved leadership and studying it. I was a football coach for 26 years. And so the leadership piece, I needed to get some foundation. So through Dr. John C. Maxwell, that was my first coach in terms of content and process as a speaker, trainer, coach. A little bit of marketing and sales, but that's not what it was about. And that's what I lacked. And over the period, I think I've told you, I haven't told my wife.
I hope she doesn't watch.
Megan.
Megan, don't watch.
It's in excess of $80,000 over.
Oh my God.
Over about an 8 to 9, 10 period. And I say that not necessarily, how could I do that? Because, Chala, you've opened your wallet for your coaches as well.
Much more than that. Oh yeah.
I know. I'm on the lower end.
And still do.
But I know, because all of us we all need coaches. And I used to tell my clients, if there were entertaining or prospects ideas of other coaches, I'd ask them, well, make sure you ask them who their coach is. And if they don't have a coach at that time, turn and run.
Exactly.
You should run.
Exactly.
But to crystallize it down to what Chala does so well, and what I needed to define my market. And I needed to figure out, first, who is it? Second, where do they hang out?
Yeah.
And that's just to crystallize it down. And so through the process, which, as Cynthia was referring to, it's hard work. and which is weird, because most of the calls I think I had 6 distinct areas where I scored it, and I had to make calls. Maybe it was 3. I can't remember. I just know that Yeah, I think it was 3 areas,
Yeah,
10 people.
exactly.
There we
Yeah,
go. And then score it. Those are the 3 you pick. And it was hard work. And my calls were mostly all warm calls, people I knew or
yeah.
I
And they
touched
should be.
base. And at the end of the day, for me, it was the real estate vertical.
Right. I
And
remember.
that's the vertical I went in
Yeah.
coaching. And I would say the 2 things that still bring value to me in the work that I'm doing now. I've shifted my focus on coaching to the next generation, and I'm pouring into the college and university age student, clientele. I just feel a passion for that next generation. But the 2 things I think were truly understanding marketing niche, and sales process, the conversation,
Right.
how to have the sale. You taught me more than anyone has taught me about the sales conversation. Invaluable. I use, this, I've told you this. I use aspects of it daily.
Yeah.
Even though my work, I still coach similar things, but my niche changed from real estate professionals of all sorts, from mortgage to insurance, et cetera. And of course, realtors to the college student in terms of discovering their career. So the market research things you taught me, just
Wow.
in the switch of in the pivot I made just recently in the last year, I just celebrated my 1 year here at the university. Yeah, those things I now teach to students as they're trying to figure out, okay, I got this degree, what do I do with it now?
That's amazing. That is amazing. So as somebody who has spent over $80,000 on coaching, what advice do you have to give to people who are on the bubble and undecided about making an investment into working through this program to learn the things that you did?
Well, I would challenge them to look in the mirror and have an honest conversation with themselves and say, are you where you truly want to be or thought you should be? And if you're not, then if not now, when?
Right. What's going to change?
Something has to change. And we all joke about the Einstein insanity quote. Doing the same thing. And we're just creatures of habit. Part of that's good when we do have it, but it can, there's a shadow side to every, what do they say? Backside to every blessing, a shadow side to everything. And I think that can be true in this too, where, so that's that. I would challenge them and just really be honest and say, am I getting where I want to be? Not what other people think I should be or where they think, no, me. Me. Am I where in my business, if I have partners, then the business partners, are we where we want to be? And there's a trust factor. There's a faith factor. But at the end of the day, if they do it right, they will, it's not, I've said this and not rocket science. Working with Chala is not an expense. It's not on your expense list. It gets its own category called investment.
Okay. All right.
Investment.
I wasn't sure where you're going. Okay.
I know. You're like, oh, that crazy California guy. But
that's
I
great.
really,
thank you.
It's an investment.
Yeah.
And
that's how I invest in my business. That's how you invested all those dollars, right?
Right. And if I may have asked the very naive question, well, if I'm going to get more out of it than I put in, like this is my investment, how much?
Yeah.
And that's a question a coach could never answer because there's too many other variables. but if you don't have the tools as your foundation to begin,
Mhm.
how are you going to get there?
Yeah.
How's what you've been doing? If you, in fact, are in a space where you want to grow, I would challenge that business owner, that leader. How's it working for you?
How's
The
it working
other,
out for you? Isn't that Dr. Phil? Doesn't he? How's that working out for you?
that's my fitness trainer.
Oh, really? Okay, good. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Ken. You are just a blessing. My love to your lovely bride. I still call her your bride because to me, it's like just got married yesterday to me.
Yeah.
But thank you so much and all the best.
Yeah. Can I share one real quick thing?
Yeah.
I was just thinking about it when I said fitness trainer, and I've often said that fitness trainers, coaches of anything, whether you're coaching, health coaching, business coaching, this is a weird thought maybe, but I believe we all have the same competitor. We do. Fitness trainers. Inside. It's self-reliance is the competition. It's self-reliance.
So thinking they can do it on their own, is that what you mean?
That's correct. And so when we're coaching, when you're speaking to your client, realize the competitor isn't the person that does similar to what you do. Really, it's really showing your own value in how you form things. And that's why you need Chala, so that you can, have everything going in your way with the reality is, okay, self-reliance. So how do that's the objection to figure out how do we overcome the self-reliant? I can do it on my own.
Yeah.
Objection.
I mean, in most of the cases, Ken, it's an excellent point because a lot of people who are going to be watching this have said that, or they're saying, I'll figure out the piece that Chala is supposed to help me figure out on my own, but I'll spend money somewhere else. Right. But the truth of it is they've been taught that somewhere in their childhood, somewhere in their youth, somebody taught them that they needed to be self-sufficient. And yet in the business world, that makes you lose a lot of money and time. In fact, right. In all of life, if you have somebody who's a few steps ahead of you, who's a specialist, who will take you through. I'm reading Bo Eason. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Oh yeah.
Like his book, and he's talking about how everybody in his school, his little tiny school, and all of his roommates all made it to really high levels of, the NFL, but it's because he and they didn't know that he was, but he was so clear on what to do. He was such a mentor without even knowing that he was a mentor, that he just influenced everybody around him. Yeah. He was just the magnet. So that's what a coach has always done for me, is that sure. You can maybe do it on your own, but it will take so much longer and it'll be so much more
sure.
Right. And everything you invest in everything else is going to be,
it's so cliche. It is well said, well stated, but very true. I just told all these freshmen at orientation the other day, I'm a coach here on the campus. There's other coaches. Coaches simply help people get to where they say they want to be, that they can't get to on their own.
Yes, so true.
And that's why the stagecoach was the first coach, because it traveled the pioneers over terrain they couldn't get. They wanted to go west to the promised land, California, but they couldn't get there walking because of the terrain. They needed a coach, hence the stagecoach. Last bonus, and then I'm done. I promise. I know you got other guests. Chala, my bonus Chala tip for coaches building your business is this, and I think this is so important. Negotiate terms, not your price.
Oh, very good. You remembered that one. Wow. That's great.
That's right.
Great. Yeah.
And I teach, we're an art school, creative arts. So I'm teaching our artists that get commissioned, small little commission jobs to paint this or create a website. And I said, you stick to your price, whatever you arrive at. You need to negotiate terms, how long they'll pay, things like that. But you do not change your price. The next thing, if you do, you'll always do it. And you'll just price becomes, if price is your value proposition, you're going to be in trouble.
That's not a value. Thank you so much, Ken. Love
Thank
you,
Donna.
love you.
Love
All
you
the
too.
best.